back with more sex education. This is episode 7 of season 2, penultimate episode of the season. Very excited to see what's going to happen next. Last episode, a lot kind of kicked off. I think we had a party at Otis's house, not his finest hour. Liv also told Jackson's parents about, you know, what he's been going through, so that might be a big deal as well. Aimee's still going through it. Eric and Adam, there's still loads of angst there. It's all a great big bloody mess. Who else do we have to talk about in the last one? I mean, there's angst with Ola and Lily as well. It's just everyone. But at least, you know, Maureen's very wholesome. I adore her. But yeah, I'm excited to see where all of this stuff is going to be taken. And yeah, this is the first episode I've recorded since season 3 dropped as well. So if you've seen that, I hope you enjoyed it. I will get to it fairly soon, because there's only one more episode after this in this season. So we're just going to carry straight on into season 3. And yeah, I hope you're enjoying it. A few people that I know who've watched it really liked it. So yeah, I'm excited to get to it, but obviously no spoilers. Yeah, so what they're going to throw at us this time around. Literally anything can happen with this show, but that's why I love it. So yeah, let's just dive right into the next one.
Nice, right? Have you got green pubic hair in it?
Maeve, what? Is it Maeve? Oh god, yes! Of course! I knew there was something I'd forgotten to talk about. Oh shit. That's, yeah.
If you tell anyone about this, I'll destroy your life.
Oh.
Only supposed to be 10.
It was for like a couple of minutes. It's kind of sad that his first time was kind of a drunken mess.
I don't know. She's watching TV. And there she was up to something. Oh yeah. Quick.
She pretending to go to work.
Bargain hunt.
I also thought you shouldn't be spying, but
Okay, calm down and listen to me.
looks like Elton John.
So did you shag Ruby, dude? Who knew Sex Kid was such a player?
Congratulations.
I want to peel off my skin. There. Ah, yeah, the headmaster leaked the book, didn't he? Bastard.
Admits to masturbating up to 17 times a day. 17 times? We're not friends, Viv.
You said some pretty horrible things to me too, you know. Fine. We're no friends in the first place.
Oh, that's not true.
No dilly-dallying, girls. It wasn't me.
It was me.
About the condom.
Yes.
It's more like 96.5. The details are a bit hazy.
What should we do?
Morning after pill or something.
Can't we do this another time?
No, we're doing it now.
It's better to get it out of the way, I think, isn't it?
Get in the car.
That's not the attitude to take, is it?
You will circle every A in the paper until one of you owns up.
I mean, I'd be alright doing that, to be honest.
Look, I'm not having your pale, unusually long children. Go in and get it already.
Does anyone in your immediate family have any health problems?
My dad has MS. He was diagnosed last year. It's quite bad.
Oh, wow. Oh.
Why are you laughing?
Because you both just need to get a divorce.
Why would you say that?
And you're so scared I'm not going to love you like a biological mum that you just spend most of your time pushing us both away. I just think we'd all be a lot happier if you just get a divorce.
You can circle the I's next.
I feel like it's very circumstantial that it has to be one of
You
them.
want to bring a presentation on what binds you together as women.
I don't know how they were misplaced.
Olivia, do you know how old your boyfriend is?
What a twat.
He's 16.
15.
15?
Yeah, I skipped the year in primary school.
But my report...
Is no longer welcome on campus, and nor are you.
Ugh, this guy.
You know, Otis, his advice was super strange, but it worked. But he charges a lot for it though, which sucks. Well, that's why
Oh! Oh no! Oh, pardon the pun, but it's all coming out.
My family's atheist.
What's an atheist?
It's someone who believes that there is no God. Okay? Shall we be quiet now?
Yeah.
Of course you're my role model.
But you didn't come through me. That's why I was so happy when you said you wanted to swim, because that's my passion, something we could do together.
I thought it was because you couldn't compete anymore.
That's why she was holding on to it so tightly.
With you living your dream through me. I don't want to swim anymore. It just doesn't make me happy. Well, it's got nothing to do with our relationship, okay?
Tell her about the play. She might come and see it.
I got a part in the school play.
What?
Yeah. Playing Romeo.
And you were very believable as Joseph.
Aw, I'm really glad those two. Alright. Aw.
Six.
Oh, good. Training him.
I don't know what's going on between the two of you, but if you hurt him, I'll mess you up.
I don't want to hurt him anymore.
Then don't.
I said fucking diet.
Jesus is with you.
Oh, sorry, I don't believe in Jesus.
When I'm sad, I make out with nerdy boys. It was 100% intentional.
Why nerdy
Ah.
boys? It's kind of my first time.
You're a virgin.
Well, I was.
No, actually.
You kept asking me if I was okay.
It's important to check in.
It was every 10 seconds.
No. How many times did he say it?
He had to quit his job, and my mum's really stressed about it. But mainly, I was upset because I overplucked my left eyebrow, and I just got them symmetrical.
You look very even to me.
Aw. See, anyone can get along.
You didn't try and steal my boyfriend then?
Can we not fight?
Shut up. It just got interesting.
I was trying to steal your boyfriend. He said
Oh,
everything was
Aimee.
nice at the time.
You don't know anything about me.
You don't know anything about me.
Stop fighting over a stupid boy!
Because I can't get on the bus.
Wait. It's okay.
Aw.
It's okay.
Oh, God.
I was groped at the train station last year. We were going to a gig in the city. This group of guys.
This is what they're all going to have in common, isn't it?
I did.
Some boys were catcalling me. This woman.
Ah, okay, that's how that ties into it.
Revealing. One day, this guy flashed me his penis in the pool, and she wouldn't let me go back anymore. It's sad because the pool's my favorite place to go.
That's so unfair.
Statistically, 2/3 of girls experience unwanted sexual attention or contact in public spaces before the age of 21. So, it's not unusual.
It's fucking horrendous, isn't it?
Mine followed me home from work about a year ago. Every time I sped up, he sped up.
God. There you go, that's who it was.
I only did it because I love you, and I found out you love him. He can't offer you what I can, miss. Sit. It's a miracle.
Aw.
You carry on like this, you're looking at Employee of the Month, huh?
Hey.
I'm going to go to the movies tonight, so you can look up for me.
The way they believe in all that God stuff, they think it's real. I believe in it too.
Yeah, I wouldn't phrase it in that way.
Not properly. You pretend to keep the peace, right? No. My family had to leave their country because of religion. Just doesn't make any sense to me.
Okay,
I didn't know that.
there is that.
So what difference does that make we love you? We'll agree to disagree.
Oh.
Love. I love you too. Oh, putain. I thought about myself for a moment.
But I do know my boundaries. I can't go through that kind of pain again. I'm not sure if I could get up.
Goodbye, Anna.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Oh, she really regrets it. Oh, it's not going to be locked, is it? Oh, God. No. Still conflicted.
That boy is not right for you.
You don't think anybody's
No.
right for me?
It's not him, it's you. You act like a different person when you're around him. Like you're trying to be something that you're not. It doesn't make you sparkle.
Ah, they're all going to smash it up like she did with Adam.
What do I do?
Ah, amazing.
About something.
It's good to have a release for it, I suppose, isn't it? Make your own kind of music. I like the song choice, that's good. Like making your voice heard.
I did try and steal him. I'm sorry. I did like him. But I kind of wanted to beat you too.
An understanding. Oh my goodness. Progress.
Have you been giving sex advice to students at school for money?
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
Can I talk to you right now?
Mum.
Heck. Heck.
I think I don't want to be just friends.
What?
Because you smell so much better than a boy.
Hey! I like those two together.
Your mum's lying about going to work. I saw her pretending to leave this morning, then sneaking back again.
God, I don't know if that's your place, but...
Tell you what I saw.
Fuck.
Alright, 007, enough.
Lie to me one more time and you are.
Yeah.
Get in the bus. We're all getting the bus.
Oh my god, that is... Oh. Oh, good for you. Oh, I love that. Oh. Look at them. Fucking squad. Oh. I'm so proud of her. Oh. That was amazing. Fuck. Okay, another fantastic episode again. Some really, really lovely moments in this one. And some things I don't think they'd properly address in such a profound and heavy way. I wasn't expecting to address that in till the finale, but we're getting that quite early, which probably is for the best, because I imagine there's going to be a lot for them to have to cover and play out in the finale for the season next. So it kind of makes sense that, you know, they do space out what storylines advance when in terms of, you know, the episodes as the season goes on. But it's got, just some really good stuff. I love this show, it's so good. They handle their characters so brilliantly, and even, you know, like the scene with all the girls, and they're all so different. And it's sad that that's the thing that they have in common, but the fact that at all they found some common ground, and they actually showed that and portrayed that in such a positive way, from them kind of having to deal with such an awful situation that they've all gone through, to then come through that and kind of be a celebration of yeah, you know, we got through that, and some, you know, just the simple imagery of them getting on the bus with Aimee. Oh my god, that was really emotional. I loved that moment. And it's not it's all tied up in a bow, Aimee's fine now because she get back on the bus. I imagine that's going to be something that she just will affect the rest of her life. That bloody dickhead on the bus. But it was so huge that she could take that step. And, you know, when she was talking about, it's, you know, I'm angry because Steve's trying to make things right and he doesn't understand. And, you know, just being able to tell him what happened is one thing, and he can be like, oh yeah, I'm sure that's horrible, because, you know, he hasn't gone through that stuff. So the fact that, you know, she could open up and tell people that she's still struggling who have gone through things like that she has, yeah, that was really, really cool, that she has that kind of outlet. And then because they nicely set it up with Oliver and Adam smashing out some shit. I think, was that the last episode or the one before? I think it was the last one, because she just left the party, hadn't she? And she's obviously a very good outlet for her and her anger and her frustration. So she suggested they all went and did that there. It's just like a big bonding moment, and they ultimately, you know, they didn't need to even complete that assignment that Miss Sands gave them, because, you know, none of them actually wrote the thing, but they still found that thing in common anyway, and they powered through that. And you know, it wasn't about, you know, that girl hangs out with Ruby, she's like one of the more popular ones. You know, it wasn't really about that in the end. It was the fact that they're all, you know, women who went through some shit, and can get on the bus every day. And it's just, you just think how good you have it, I guess, when there are people out there who are terrified of getting on the bus. I mean, I'm terrified of getting on the bus because of anxiety, not because of, being groped or anything. I have been groped at nightclubs and stuff. But what Aimee went through, that's fucking horrendous. So the fact that there are people terrified of getting on it for that reason, it feels weird to say I'm lucky because I only have anxiety, and that's why I'm scared of getting on buses, because I just assume everyone's staring at me and I'm going to make a fool of myself. But that's not being like, oh yeah, because that's better, yay me, hooray for me. But some people, just things like that you may not think about, it's just like a casual thing that a lot of people do. The fact that some people struggle to do that because of something that's happened to them, it's just so sad, and the fact that they address that in a storyline like Aimee's is really powerful. And I think that's why this show's done so well as it has, because it's not afraid to tackle storylines like that and be realistic about what happens to young people. Like Liv even said, I think it was like 2/3 of women get treated that way before they're 21 or something horrible. So that's a big deal with her character, because we know she's all about statistics and maths and stuff. She's brought that kind of thing up before, like with Jackson, the last episode, she was talking about, people who self-harm and everything. So the fact that she knows that is completely in character, but it also aids this storyline. How they've tied that all together is so good. And the fact that, there's a lot of tension between Maeve and Otis right now. There's a lot of tension between Jackson and Liv right now. But this episode kind of addressed that near the start, but then this was their story for this episode, so that's not even been kind of resolved yet. Maybe that's something for the next episode, or season 3 or whatever, or season 4, because it also got renewed for season 4, so hooray for us. But the fact that they just ended up being like, no, this is the story, because it's not just like people have one thing going on in their life at any one time, so they've been dragged into this as well. It's so good, so cleverly written. I love how they've kind of woven all that together. And alongside that, Maeve and Ola kind of can deal with the tension between them, and Maeve is being honest and like, oh yeah, I did try to steal Otis, I guess. And Ola, she was genuine in that she really did like Otis, but there's also kind of a competitive nature between them, as there was in this episode until they talked that through. So there's some progress between those two, I would imagine. They kind of could be on good terms now, which I love. And just everything with that. And I'm trying to remember the name. The one whose boyfriend was 15, which is also awful. That was horrendous. But, just something like her storyline, and that kind of twist to it, how kind of badly things can go wrong, how things can spiral out of control. It's just great that they can layer these characters so much. Even ones like her and like Ruby, who we don't see that much of, but in these little moments we kind of see what they have going on, and it's almost in a way, true to real life, that you may see someone like every day. I see, if I go to like the local shop or something, I recognise all the cashiers because I've known them for like 25 years of my life, but I don't know what they've got going on in their own lives. They may have all sorts of shit going on, but they're just kind of a minor part of your life. And I think this show does a great job of doing that with like the secondary characters. Sometimes they will just get a big episode for themselves, and then we still don't see much of them outside of that, but that's life. And I love that they did that in this episode with like all the women there, and Ruby as well, the fact that her dad has MS, but she keeps up the front like, oh, but I'm more upset because of my eyebrows. And I really appreciate Otis actually kind of just playing along with that, because he obviously knows that's not the case, and it's more so her dad that's upsetting her, but it just maintains her image and her pride, doesn't it? So I really liked that, and I really enjoyed the storyline with Otis and Ruby in this one. The fact that was his first time and everything is a bit of a mess, that they didn't really remember how it went down, but again, that's going to happen. And it could have been, Ruby was just completely ashamed and denied it all happened, but she was like, yeah, it happened, I suppose we should get the morning after pill just to make sure, and things like that. Obviously she was a bit like, I don't want anyone finding out that I slept with you or whatever, and I turn to nerds when I'm sad, but they show that there's some real depth to her as well, and she's got shit going on, but she puts on a brave face. So the strength that she has, I know she isn't particularly nice to people a lot of the time, but the strength that she has to kind of put on that persona, which I don't really think is properly her, and put that on every single day, even though she's got this going on with her dad. This shows that strength to her, and they're not outright saying, "Well, look how strong this character is." They're showing it to us, not telling us. And I think that's the sign of a good show, and good writing, really. So that was really good. And the actress who plays Ruby, I really liked her anyway, because she was in EastEnders for a couple of years, like ages ago, and she was always really good in that. So to see her get moments like this in Sex Education is also very cool. So I loved the storyline with those two. It was a bit funny as well, but again, there's some common ground between all those women, and they're so different, but they can have this thing in common and get along. And then Otis and Ruby, you wouldn't expect them to ever be on any good terms either way, and that they can just sit down and toast with cans of Coke. And yeah, it's a bizarre situation that they were going through, because she had to take the morning after pill, but just little moments of humanity. I think you genuinely can have that kind of connection with basically anyone. And they also showcase that a bit with Eric and Raheem's story in this one. Because while Raheem doesn't believe in God, Eric strongly does. It's like a fundamental disagreement that they have. They could still say that they love each other and have that moment. Again, I don't know if Eric really means it, and his mum would certainly say he doesn't. He doesn't make him sparkle or something, I think she said, which is an interesting idea. And the fact that he's still holding on to those shards of plate when he spent time with Adam is obviously kind of another indicator that maybe that's where Eric's heart lies, and I'm sure that's going to be something that is addressed at some point. But the last couple of episodes, I've really enjoyed Raheem a lot more. I do feel like he was very forceful into the relationship at the start, and he, is kind of, I'm not going to leave you alone until you date me, but I've really grown to like him a lot in the past couple of episodes. And I think he can be very blunt in how he says things. I think he could have worded a few things better in the church and stuff. And what he's saying, like, I think it's cute that your family believes in God, even stuff like that. He's kind of disregarding it a bit, which I wasn't a big fan of. It's not, I don't think it's difficult to just respect that someone has their beliefs, Eric wasn't bashing Raheem for not believing in God, but it did seem a bit like the other way round. But maybe that's something that he can just learn. So there are moments like that, but I like them showcasing a bit of that. And, I'm an atheist myself as well. So to see them kind of have someone who's atheist go to church, in a way be respectful, but also not. I wouldn't have outright told the guy, "Oh, I'm sorry, I don't believe in God." But everyone's different in that way, I suppose, isn't it? That's more so a personal thing. But just, again, tackling something like that is not something you really see a lot. So I like them kind of going there, and the fact that they did kind of, it wasn't like a huge blowout argument that they had, it was a disagreement, but they kind of got over it fairly quickly. Because it is a bit of a learning curve, and maybe it's just more so an indicator that those two aren't going to be perfectly matched, especially with the scene with Eric's mum at the end as well, when she was saying he's not right for Eric, but not because he's a bad person or anything, it's because Eric doesn't love him, which is interesting, so I'm sure that's going to be addressed. What else do we have? Gene getting fired. Groff can get in the bin. I hate that guy. I hope he gets his comeuppance fairly soon. He's just so smug about it. It was all his plan, and I hate that it worked out and Jean's got fired. And I wasn't expecting her to also find out about the sex clinic, so that's a big deal. And she's not ready for that talk just yet. So we go into season 1 finale. We had Otis mad at Jean over a sex-based thing with the book, and now it's kind of the opposite way around, that she's mad at him going into the finale. And yeah, I imagine that's quite a daunting thing, almost like a challenge to her career in a way, maybe a bit of a betrayal. So how that's going to be resolved, I'm interested to see for sure. And we had a lot of conflicts between sons and mothers in this episode, so we'll see where that goes. And my heart broke for her when she went to see Jakob, and he was like, you're not ready for the commitment that I want, I don't want to go through that pain again. And And I think that scene afterwards when she broke down kind of shows that she is, but maybe she's not really ready to admit that just yet. Or she just wants to put on a brave face. I don't think, even if she wants to get back with him, I don't think she'd beg him. And at the end of the day, she did betray him and she did hurt him, so it's not like nothing happened there and it was all like a misunderstanding or whatever. She did do that, and she was at least honest with him eventually, but that she was honest with him because he was pissing her off, not because she actively just wanted to do the right thing there. But that was so sad as well. I'm hoping those two can kind of work things out, but I don't know, maybe it's just one of those things, and maybe she isn't quite ready yet. But we'll see where that goes. But she did kind of break my heart a little bit there. Going back to find her house trashed and everything as well. She did a bloody good job cleaning it up, though. I must say that. Good on you. So more conflict there. We'll see what happens. And then the thing with Erin, the fact that she got fired, was covering it up. I don't know if she is using it again or not. But we are building up to a finale. I don't know if Maeve's going to have to make a bad choice there about her mum and her little sister, especially because her and her little sister had a nice little sweet moment at the start. Are they just building that up to break our hearts over it? I don't know. But obviously that's going to be something that we explore as well. That makes me sad that she felt that she had to lie about that. But, you know, she knows that she's disappointed her kids time and time again. She doesn't want to do it again. And in a way, I appreciate Isaac telling Maeve that, because she did need to know to resolve anything. You know, you need to get it out there in order to address it and resolve it, much like when Jackson snapped at his mum's in this one. But he only found that out because he was just, you know, spying on Maeve every day whenever she leaves the house, which is a bit, mate, calm down. Especially when she's not really shown a mutual feeling, samey vibe yet, if ever. So that felt a bit weird, but I appreciate that he does have that genuine care and he would want her to know because that's for the best for her in the long term. But it also came from him kind of stalking her a bit, which I'm not so big on. So again, very mixed feelings about Isaac, but maybe as time goes by they'll do a bit more with him. Because, you know, we have had a bit of backstory to him and he does do good things for people, but he also enjoys being a bit of a dick. And he has been a dick to Maeve in the past, but he also kind of cares about her. I assume teasing is like the, you know, if a boy pulls a girl's hair at school or something, picks on her at school because he likes her. It feels like a bit like that kind of situation. So I'm a bit still mixed on that guy, to be honest. So we'll see what happens with it. But, you know, I like that Maeve did at least try and work out the truth for herself, and she did find out that was the case and stood her ground over it. You know, one more lie, you're gone. I feel like that's going to be how it goes, and that's going to be very, very sad for Maeve, though. But we'll see what happens with it. And then... we can talk about Ola and Lily, actually. I forgot to write her down. But very happy that those two seem to be a thing. You know, it was only a couple of episodes ago they really introduced the chemistry between those two, but I really liked that pairing a lot. I understand Lily kind of avoiding Ola a bit and trying to work out, you know, how she feels about the whole situation. And I guess saying out loud, like, you know, we can still be friends. That probably, saying that out loud, kind of committing to that, was like, oh no, actually that's not what I want, and that kind of opened her eyes that she actually wants to be with Ola romantically. So I'm very happy about those two. That was cool that they worked through some stuff separately and then came together in that way. So very, very pleased with that. And yeah, I love how the whole Aimee storyline played out. You know, it was awful that she was suffering in silence for so long and she wasn't really opening up to someone who could properly understand. So the fact that she kind of found that and they went on the bus, such a lovely story. I absolutely adore that. Even if it did have to lead to that kid who's obsessed with Miss Sands and it's like, oh, I love you, and he was writing all that message. No, my goodness. What a mess that all got leaked out, but there you go. And Adam as well. I like, again, his storyline wasn't necessarily about Eric in this one. He did have his own stuff to do. There was bits of that, like his scene with Otis, and I liked that Otis was like, you know, you can't hurt him anymore. Adam saying he doesn't want to is a big step as well. But, you know, actions speak louder than words, I guess. But Eric did kind of firmly draw a line between them recently, so it's not like he really has a chance to make actions speak louder than words just yet. But he was just having something else good going for him, that he trained the dog and everything. Then just that bloody door. It seemed like a difficult door to lock, and that's just rude. It's just, why didn't he check and double check that it was locked before he left? He just assumed it, so that's not great. I assume he's just lost his job now, so he literally has nothing, and I feel bad for him about that, because he is going through his own shit, but my god. They don't give him a break, really. I don't know if it's a karma kind of deal because of how he used to be, but yeah, I imagine that's got to come to some sort of head in the next episode as well, maybe, with everything with Raheem and Eric and stuff. The fact that they've introduced this kind of idea that they're not meant to be together could bring Adam back into the picture, so we'll see what happens with that. Jackson and Viv still aren't on good terms, and I want to die. Hopefully they make up soon, especially because things have turned out okay with Jackson and his mums. Well, we'll see, maybe they will still get divorced and everything, but in terms of the conflict he was having with, the overbearing mother, that seems resolved, and that's a really lovely scene as well. That's one of my favourite scenes of the episode. And we got a bit of her side of it as well, the fact that she's very insecure about the fact that she wasn't his biological mother, and swimming was kind of a connection to him. But also, she kind of felt alive again, I guess, when she saw him competing, because she couldn't compete herself anymore. I like that she was like, maybe there is a bit of truth to that as well. Just that honest conversation that was kind of spawned from Jackson snapping, saying stuff. I felt like he did kind of mean it. And maybe they would be better off getting a divorce, but, that's not for us to really speak of just yet. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. But they do fight whenever we see them. But maybe now this tension has been eased with Jackson, because I think that's often what they fought about. They fought over him. Maybe that's going to be a positive step for their relationship, and they actually can work through that now. So it kind of worked out that Viv did tell them, because it allowed Jackson to be honest, and it is sad that he may have never gotten to that point, and something really bad could have happened if he didn't tell them. But at least once it was out there and they knew, he seemed like much more comfortable in sharing that, you two should get a divorce, you're clearly not happy, and blah, blah, blah. And maybe he did go a bit far with it, but also we have seen, his mum was a lot about the whole situation, and, didn't create many opportunities for Jackson to actually speak about it. So the fact that she was very good about it and very understanding about it, once he was like, look, you are my real mum, and we can still have a good relationship. It's like she thought the swimming was what defined their bond, and I like that Jackson had to tell her that's not the case. And I think from her side of things, that makes a lot of sense as to why she was so passionate about that side of it. It wasn't really about him winning and him being the best. It was about, my son loves something that I love, and that's kind of what our relationship was built on way back when. So I kind of get that. Obviously she did go about things in the wrong way, and didn't realise something was up with her son, but that's often the case when people are suffering like that. So all of that, such a really honest conversation between the two of them, was really lovely. I'm glad that she was so good about it and so understanding about it. I think once you know that your kid's hurting, you are going to do whatever you can to fix it. And she was obviously very angry and frustrated at him for a bunch of the episode, but I'm glad that they patched things up, and that he told her about the play as well, because he was talking about, I need to find out for myself things I'm interested in, and that was one of them. And that they could joke about that was also really lovely. So I'm glad that those two seem to have patched up a relationship, and there is more to that bond than just swimming, which has always been the case, but I don't think his mum knew that or was aware of that. So that was cool that they properly addressed that. I just liked that he has something to feel better about now, because, I'm very much in tune with Jackson's storyline, so I love seeing it go in a positive direction. And I think because it ended up so nice for that side of things, and hopefully will continue to do so, I'm hoping Jackson, Viv even can patch things up, and he'll probably have to be grateful for that in the end. So yes, that was quite a bit to go through. I think that's everything I wanted to talk about. I think that's all the big storylines. But man, they stick so much into these episodes, but they just balance it out so well, and everything ties together so well. We had other stories kind of culminating and informing other ones, like Viv's love statistics and stuff like that. It's so brilliantly written. I love it so much. Wonderful scenes, you know, the standouts for me were definitely Jackson and his mum, and the bus scene at the end. That was beautiful. I love that moment. One of my favourite moments of the show, easily. Just something so simple as that image of them all sat at the back of the bus together. Loved it. And that could be a positive step forward maybe for Aimee as well, in terms of recovery, or getting used to what happened, trying to process it. Because again, it wasn't like Steve was doing anything wrong. He could just, because he hasn't been through anything like that himself, he can't properly understand, I guess, where she was coming from. So that could be a positive thing for those two as well. And maybe, you know, Aimee can, if she still wants a romantic relationship at all, because she was very uncertain about that in the last episode, maybe they can work on that and build that back up. So yeah, really, really great stuff. I adored this episode so much, and I'm excited to see where they go with the next one to end the season. I imagine some things will certainly be coming to a head, and there'll probably be a lot of setup for season 3 in there as well. So I'm excited for that. I adored this episode. What a fucking show. And yeah, I think that's going to be everything for now, just in time for my camera to die, so it is flashing. So I think that is time to go. Yeah, thank you so much for watching, and until my next reaction, see ya.